Hello and welcome back to Closed Circuit Sports. I'm Drew Goldman, and today we're going back to K1 for the November GP, starting qualifying 1.
Okay.
Qualifying here is always a crapshoot. Some of the karts are beat to a pulp. Some of them are passable.
November GP.
Occasionally, you find a good one. When you do, you gotta capitalize. The rest of the time, you gotta get really good and make some lemonade. We'll see what we got.
Let's try driving delicate today and see what happens. Can't go worse than last month. I try to goon it everywhere.
Fair point. Last month was actually our second worst finish ever at K1. Was not a fan of how that went. Didn't seem to be any particular rhyme or reason as to why it went so poorly. But it is what it is. Such is racing, so I'm told. Ups and downs. This was our home track for 2024. Without a doubt. But after one race at Whiteland, which I kept to myself, forgive me, and a couple of practices, that's going to be my home for 2025. As soon as it's open. As soon as my Birel is built. We're going to be running in the IKC. We're going to be running in Sierra.
Push, don't pull.
And we're going to see if we can do a couple of one-off events aside.
Still pulling.
Maybe Newcastle. Something along those lines. Mostly 206. The occasional KA. The occasional KZ80. The Sportsman Shifter. And I think that's where I'm going to cut myself off for 2025. I have no idea what Daytona is going to be next year, but I hope I don't have to take one off in order to get to the next one. We'll see. Those kind of events make these ones feel rather insignificant, but these sure keep you sharp. And I don't think they give you bad habits. I think they teach you how to adapt. I think so long as you go in with the mentality of knowing that you're going to have to adapt to whatever it is that you're driving, and that you're going to get 3 different ones, probably, over the course of the evening, well, then good. There are certain people who use the sim as a video game, and they optimize it so that they have the highest chance of winning the game. I'm working on how to even do that. Because the only guide that I've had so far for is it better in the sim is whether it's more real. And that's because I wanted to use the sim to get real reps for cheaper, so that when I got behind an actual wheel, I could make the most of them.
Normally they come in twos.
Because I'm probably going to have to pay for it myself out of pocket. Is what it is. Is what it's been. Is what it will be. Unless I can find a company to partner with. Properly. We got a couple of good partners here. But they're all just giving me a shot. Definitely a back-end deal. We can talk about that later. In the meantime, doing a pretty good job of slinging it out here in Indy. Little cut for the visor cam. This angle is from the inside of the helmet. This is only available to us at K1 at the moment. See if anywhere else will let us do it for practices past this point. I didn't know I was breaking a rule when I brought it out to Whiteland the last time. It's a pretty good raw video though. Squeal on the tires a little bit more than I probably should. I am a big boy for these little low power karts. That is part of what drew me to 206.
I'm like, am I getting pushed?
Is the fact that we all actually have a minimum weight we have to meet.
No, I'm pushing. The cart. Okay,
And that we will meet. That's the only gripe I really have about Daytona, was that the Blue Shock division was a bit of a circus. It was an amazing experience, but I was going in with that mentality. If I had gone in with the expectation
really good.
of a fair chance to win, I would have been very, very disappointed. So, we can talk about that later. It was an amazing experience, getting to go and do a national event for the first time. I was really nervous that I was going to be dramatically off the pace when you put me in something with some power. I was happy to find that I was the same 2 seconds off that I am in 206 at Whiteland. I found that encouraging, not discouraging. I think that's the right way to look at it. White flag.
My bad. They did not need to show me a blue flag for the last lap. I don't think he would have had me, but okay.
I got a blue flag during qualifying.
2-1 in the book.
That's crazy.
See how we did. Not expecting a ton, but it felt pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Hoping to do a little bit better here.
Thank you. Oh.
Uh-oh. Like I was saying earlier, from time to time, you get a proper dud. I've seen batteries die on track before, and it's always a gut punch. But typically, they swap them out and they put them back in the position they were in. That rule recently changed. It may or may not make K1 a bit of a waste of time. But it was already kind of a get what you can out of what you can afford situation.
20 or whatever. Okay.
And it will continue to be that.
Okay.
Until they, change something, I guess.
14. Oi.
So we jump into a new cart, adapting to the situation.
It's like cutting his tie.
Little West Wing reference for Pops there.
I don't like that. Oh man, I took a crooked cart. I should have gone with the 20. Lesson learned.
Crap shoot.
Trying to beat a 25.9. Oh no.
What's unreal about these carts in particular, this location in particular, is that at the beginning of the year, when I came back to K1 here after doing one race in 2022, getting absolutely thumped,
okay, come on,
and going home with my tail between my legs, I came back in February of 2024.
I hear a rattle. I don't like that.
And have gone consistently since. These carts, when I came back, were doing pole position times of approximately 24.7.
Damn.
0.8 seconds. 24.7. 24.8. Now, I'm only about a tenth off at 25.7. And that's not because the fast guys left. That's because that's as good as they can do with these carts now. I was chasing 24.7 before. My best time here was a 25.1. But that's simply no longer possible with these carts. They're getting slower. You could say it's the track. You could say it was the alignment. You could say it's an old power supply. I say they need new carts here. Or they need, like, a legitimate makeover. An overhaul. A refurbish.
I do not like that, not one little bit.
We got wheels that rattle. We got batteries that quit.
Pretty good.
The alignment is never straight. But it is what it is. For $75 a night, I get it. It is what it is. It's what we can afford. But we'll see what comes next. And the jump is pretty crazy, but it's still not perfect. That situation is still loading up. But I know racing is never perfect. It's always making the best of what you have. Making the most of your situation and your resources and your assets. I'm really excited for this season with CW Kart.
Damn, should have braked.
Running a Birel RY30.
Man, I'm nervous about that wheel.
I know, it was rattly. Not like a bent axle, but like the wheel was
jingling.
Yeah. Like a loose hub or something. If I recall, it was the right rear. And I'm clinking the walls because I can't quite predict the way it's going to understeer versus oversteer, because if I recall, it was understeery to the right and oversteery to the left, which is why you're hearing way more squeak going left than right. The alignment was kind of favoring that side. You see the way the wheel is to the right? That made turns to the right slower, made turns to the left sharper. That might sound counterintuitive, but it's how it feels.
Nope.
We're still doing a pretty good job of staying to the line, hitting our points. This cart has brakes, thank goodness. We've had to run races and karts without brakes before. Had to do it just this month in January. Unfortunately, we will not have a video for January. The battery on the cam box was not fully charged. It was my mistake. Of course, I can't blame the equipment.
Come on,
User error.
come on.
But again, as far as I'm aware, on the scoreboard, we came third in the A, the single split that we had. Sometimes there's a C here in Indy, but usually there's at least the B split. Although we haven't had one for several months. It's all been one split for several months in a row now. It's a pretty good consistent group. A little bit of new blood every month, but pretty consistent group. A couple guys fall off here and there, but new people come in. It's keeping it right around 13 or 14 right now. I wish we had the full 2 splits. It'd be great. But people have fallen off and made new plans, and I think I'm about to be next. We'll see whether we can make the time. But if there's an actual event on the same day as a K1 GP, it's not going to be a question.
Let's go.
It's going to be aw,
That felt pretty
what
good.
a shame. You know? Especially if it's in the season. If it's in the IKC. Well, IKC is all Saturdays, so maybe. Newcastle are on Sundays, though. And we'll see about Route 66. We'll see about USPKS. I know that they're going to make stops around here. Around here. That was a pretty good qualifier. In spite of the kart. I believe we started the race in 7th.
Alright.
Not too shabby for us, all things considered. Particularly given our performance last month. Trying to bounce back. Second to last month. That one hurt.
Let's try to keep count.
I believe we finished as high as 7th in an A main before. We're going to try and do better than that personal best today. We might be starting in 8th. I think
Our
that's
friendly
1, 2,
nemesis.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we are
Erick
8.
in
I
front of
believe we are 8.
Marcus right there. Martin.
We got Martin on our left in 7th. Erick ahead of us in 6th.
Tyler and Riley on pole. Nathan in between.
Okay.
I don't know who he is. Maybe that's Eric. It's gotta be. Right?
There's a second Erick. Oy vey, Martin.
Yo!
Slammed Erick. Estrada. Around. Putting us well into the wall.
Okay, we're on.
And gratefully, K1 restored the order. Put us back to where we were. Something they have recently stopped doing. Again, the policy has changed. If you're the one who caused the incident, like, okay, Martin, under the new rule, Martin would get sent to the back of the field for causing that incident. They would say avoidable contact.
That's lap 1. Jeez.
under the current rule, I still think Eric and I would get
Come
put
on,
back
Martin,
to where
do
we
it
had
clean,
been.
damn it. This ain't NASCAR.
Right?
Let's go.
But under the new rule, if your kart dies on track, you rejoin in a new kart at the back of the field. Which is probably more realistic in terms of a pit stop, but the fact that it's a crapshoot in terms of when you get a kart that requires a pit stop, and that's so not up to you. It undoes all your work that you did in qualifying, if you did well or not.
Uh-oh, Martin.
Kind of bogus. Good battle here with our sensei, Martin Beyer. Oh, and I spin him now. Oops-a-daisies. He's been coming here pretty consistently for a couple of years. This is the end of my first year.
I don't know whether they're putting you back or not, but okay.
And I've had a few opportunities to finish in front of him now. But I've always seen him as kind of a veteran gentleman driver. A good benchmark for the difference between knowing what you're doing and just having talent. The man knows what he's doing. But we ain't whiz kids. We're working on it.
Struggling to turn.
I think I've put my name in the hat for most improved over 2024. I think I can say that pretty confidently. But top fives were not something I've been expecting. Purple helmet ahead of Martin is a regular named Tyler. The race is a speedway and the endurance race is there as well. I'm looking forward to trying one of those out, I think, before they switch from combustion to electric. I really hope they don't, but I think they will, now that K1 have invested in it. Speedway Indoor Karting and Whiteland Raceway Park were recently sold to K1 Circuit. The corporate,
Damn it, Martin!
I don't know.
Come on!
K1 now owns Whiteland. It's K1 Circuit Whiteland. K1 now owns Speedway Indoor Karting. I don't know whether they have rebranded, but we'll see what happens to them in the coming year. Those locations were both owned by Sarah and Andy O'Gara in the past. Sarah O'Gara, formerly Sarah Fisher of IndyCar fame. They built a couple of awesome locations, and I really hope that those are allowed to maintain some personality moving forward. Ooh, a double overtake. I think we're going to close that out on both Martin and Tyler there and secure 6th.
Come on.
And try to run away. There are a couple people in the Discord. The Discord has been juicy for Whiteland lately, but I hold no grudge against the O'Garas. They built an amazing couple of locations, and they have a kid who I got to see go race at Daytona at Kart Week this year, and they want to take that kid racing for the rest of his life, and I can't blame them for cashing out in the way that they could at the time. We'll see what they folded into, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Danny O'Gara in IndyCar one day, given the business minds of his parents. Also, he was racing against a young man by the name of Hudson Howard. Danny and Hudson put on a heck of a show. In the final, Hudson Howard, son of Jay Howard, owner of the Jay Howard Driver Development Program, who were well represented at Daytona this year. And have a couple of drivers, I believe they're fielding for the Pro X30 and K100 Senior divisions this year in the US Pro Karting Series.
Come back here, Eric.
Also known as USPKS. Eric and I were talking about USPKS.
Battling.
I don't know
With Marcus.
whether that's going to materialize or not for him this year, but I was encouraging him to invest in the chassis and pull up at Whiteland, because I think it's closer than he was talking about MCC, which is out in Cincinnati. I would like to try a race out there, but we'll see whether it works out this year. I don't think I'm going to do anything silly like going to Supernats in Vegas. Not this year. I may try and do something silly like renting a supercart for Daytona, but we'll see. We're having a great time out here.
Come on.
These are only like 6 horsepower carts in the grand scheme of things, and they're over 400 pounds for sure, like guaranteed. But the technique is there because it's a slick surface and hard tires, low top speed rather.
Damn. Come on.
So it magnifies the mistakes, makes you focus on technique. And capitalize on others' mistakes. At the checkered flag, we nearly had another position or two. But it is what it is. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe we finished that race in 6th. Unless somebody in there was lap traffic, but it was fun.
I was quiet this morning.
And a good way to bounce back.
That was fun.
Thank you for joining us. Look at that. Bonus spot. 5th. Boom.